Sean and Dawn here.
Here it goes. Friday Live.
It is not Friday.
Friday Live.
It is not live, but you guys already know that because we say this all the time here.
And I will always say it.
You probably will.
Probably.
All right, we got a good lineup today.
Yes.
So
good content.
First one that I'm excited to actually talk about, things I wish I knew when I started CrossFit, Storm King, whatever it might be, your fitness regimen out there, because this can be applied in many ways. Right. We're going to recap on Free Friend Week. That's a mouthful.
Free Friend.
Athlete birthdays. Our feature athlete. And then how to get a hold of us at the end here. So you and I, we have a lot of talks about as you get older, you get wisdom. And sometimes you have to go through the storm or the process to gain that wisdom.
Right.
And then I think we all can probably agree that when we hear it, wisdom from elders, sometimes we're like, you don't know what you're talking about, old person. And it's different now. Things are different now.
Right.
And I don't think that's the case in most things in life, right? I think reflecting back on things and looking at events or however they may unfold has an important part in the next generation or next group coming through that.
Right. And usually perspective has a lot to do with that too, where you're at in life at the time. So
absolutely. So for those that don't know, Dawn and I have been running CrossFit for 12 years now, which is a very long time in the CrossFit space.
Yeah, I think we started 2009.
Yeah, and so
at the YMCA.
Very long time. And
to give you a little background on when we started, CrossFit was still pretty new.
Yeah, there was less than 2,000 affiliates.
Right, worldwide.
The training regimen was much different.
Yeah, it was still pretty new for us, and it was brand new on the peninsula. Nobody had ever heard or seen anything out here like that. So when we first started it at the Y, the first, I think, 10 of us that we were literally guinea pigs.
I'll post a photo of the Y.
In fact, they had asked us, will you come and try this new program? We don't know if it's even going to be something people will want to do. And so will you come try? So we really self-taught ourselves
before in the beginning,
and our handful of members, a lot of those things. And so we have been through all those growing pains of this, not only this business, but this type of fitness. And so it's cool because we are able to share with our members now
what it looked like back then.
All the mistakes that maybe we made in the beginning and what not to do. So we were able to help our members and our athletes nowadays not make those same mistakes and become much fitter quicker.
Yeah.
And more balanced.
And so when we started at the Y, just for clarification, no one was an L1 yet. I think within the 3 months of us trying all this out, we're like, we love this.
We got to go get certified.
We have to get certified. And then we went back and we're like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff we have to change now. And with every certification that we've done and more education, we learn new things and we change certain things out there. So my first thing that I would tell the new person or myself is a muscle up does not mean you're fit. What do I mean by that is that there are so many amazing movements that you'll see in CrossFit or other exercise, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're fit, like that's where you should go, or that's where you belong, right? So a muscle up, for those that don't know, that's hanging down below the rings and pulling yourself all the way up, and that is kind of like, I want to say for most people that drink the Kool-Aid and CrossFit, like, one day I want to get to that.
It just looks cool.
It looks cool, right?
Yeah, you see the games athletes doing all those cool things and everybody's like, I got to get there.
Now, I have seen many people, muscle ups, a lot of technique and foundational strength. I've seen lots of people do muscle ups who had a visceral fat level that would be heart attack coming on, right? So I've seen a lot of pot-belly dudes get up there, especially at Rainier. Shout out to Rainier CrossFit. You're no longer there anymore, but that could cycle a couple muscle ups.
Right.
But I look at them
when we went to our training there.
Yeah, and I look at those people now. I don't mean that. When we went to train there, shout out to Rainier. But when you look at them from a body composition standpoint, they're a heart attack waiting to happen or a stroke waiting to happen because we know more about that. And it doesn't mean you're fit. right? It doesn't necessarily mean that's what you should have to strive for.
It doesn't mean that they're not on the journey to fitness, or have the capability to do that, it's just not the be all end all.
It's not, yeah.
Yeah, even though sometimes the cool things look like it.
Exactly. And handstand walks and all those, very, very cool, very fun
It's really
stuff.
advanced gymnastics movements, which are a part of what we do.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's one that you have?
So the top of my list was things I wish I knew, and all of these kind of have a lot of similarities or common themes, but first one is how to recover and the importance of recovery.
Very good.
I think when we started, it was just every day, and regardless of how you felt, whatever was programmed, you were going to push yourself to do it, maybe past the point of where you should, and just every day, meaning that it was all in or all out. Yeah,
100% every day.
yes, and not, and it kind of leads into my other ones, but just whatever was written, not understanding that I didn't have to do that, or I could modify, or I could change things based on
I have that
how my
down
body
on
was
one
feeling.
of mine too list too.
So I wish that I knew how to recover better and listen to my body better, because I think the issues and the injuries and the chronic pain, some of the things I deal with now, could be different if I would have known that back then.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, Dawn and I don't know what each other's 5 are.
No, yeah.
So it's kind of surprising. She talks
What's
about
your next
recovery.
one?
Well, I think about your recovery one. It's like
Yeah.
this was going to be one of my ones, but I was like, no. But it goes in line is just the importance of stretching, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like a good warm up and loosening up,
Really
not
warming
just
up.
like I think we all feel like we're warriors. I'm just 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's just really not the right mindset to
Yes.
be, and stretching and being more intentional with that stuff would be my thing.
Yeah.
My second thing is understanding your why, right? So when you first start, what is your why? And I think when I first started, I was looking for a challenge, and I was probably lost as a human being a little bit, and I found a group of people that I kind of aligned with, and I was like, this is cool. And then my why was to get really good at this, right, type thing, even though I might have had some depression or other things going on in that thing, but it was a focus for me. But I think re-examining your why over and over again is important. So let's say every year you should re-examine, what is your why? Like, what is your why for keeping up this routine? Because mine has changed quite a bit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
And so
Changes over the
constantly,
years.
like we talk about consistency over time, and that's the most important thing for someone that's brand new. Is like, we don't want to get into a lot of heavy details with new members until they can show consistency, right? Because without it, that should be your first, goal, which is what we always talk about. But then what is their why? When people come in, it's like, well, I have weight loss and stuff like that goals, or I have this wedding I want to go to. Well, those are temporary things, so you have to re-examine those as you go, right? So that's my second one. What is your why?
My why? What was my why, you mean?
No, I was just saying that was my second
I thought
one.
you were asking me.
I'm not
It's
putting
actually
you
a good question. I haven't thought about that. My number 2 was importance of listening to my body, and that goes along with what I was talking about before in recovering. But like you said, we would get there. I've always been at the 5 a.m. class all these years, and so I get there at 5 a.m. and you can imagine those of you that come to 5 a.m., you roll out of bed, you get in your car, maybe you brush your teeth, and you walk in the door, and it's like, here's this barbell, let's lift it, it's heavy. And so not listening well to realizing that, I'm not even awake, my body's not moving, my muscles aren't primed, my heart rate is not up, all of those things. And we would just jump right into it and push past the point of maybe what we knew was smart and all of those things. So I wish that I would listen to my body, 10, 12 years ago like I do now.
Well, and for a point of reference there, for people that are new with us or haven't been with us in the early days, the old days, it used to be a whiteboard, and you would come in and there was a workout on the board, and there was no tiered programming. There was like a very loose warm-up that was being done, and some major Metcon, a hero workout or something like that. And so it looks way different now.
And back in the day, our warm-up was actually a workout.
Yeah.
And we used to always joke about that, is that in CrossFit, your warm-up is your workout. And that's how we used to do it. And We don't anymore because your warm-up really should be your warm-up.
It should be your warm-up, yeah.
I mean, sometimes it might feel hard because of the stretches or things you're doing, but it shouldn't feel like a second workout.
Yeah, the wall sits with the band flex hard.
Slow the heck down. You are there to do your workout, and that's always good to remember. And I wish that I would have known that.
We've talked about this often, is nutrition is key. And I would hear this when you go to your L1s on your certification, your foundation is nutrition. It's on the bottom of the pyramid and all that stuff. And you just don't realize how key it is, right? Most people want body composition, where they see the changes in their body, and that will happen through exercise. But to really get to the goal where people are looking for what they're really looking for, it takes commitment to a balanced nutrition. And when we first started, there was not a lot, I think there was a lot of loud do this, like, Whole30 and paleo and all that was coming out, and gluten free.
Really, paleo was huge.
CrossFit was big into zone blocks, still are, which is a fine way of doing things. But it seemed unmanageable for a lifetime. And so for me, I used to work out 2 to 3 times a day. I mean, I would go out and I would run, I'd do a workout, I'd go run again. And I was just trying to, outrun that bad diet. And it wasn't even a bad diet, right? It just was a diet that I didn't realize I needed some tweaking, right?
Yeah.
And so the benefit now is, fast forward 12 years now, we figured out, we were able to get away from all the noise that's in the nutrition space and find out that, it is really not that hard to have a balanced lifestyle and have all the things that you like to do. It's really not that hard. And that's one of the things that I love. That's one of my favorite things right now that we get to do with athletes that are willing to take those steps and go to those levels, is that all of a sudden we teach them how to fish, teach them how to eat, and they just maintain it. They're like, wow. And not just so you know, if you watch this, you're like, that's me. It might be you. You would have to prove it to us through actions, right? It just takes a little bit of work to understand how to make your life, your lifestyle with nutrition, the modification hacks to reach your goals right there, right?
Yeah.
What's your next one?
My nutrition one that kind of follows along that lines is, of course, I wish starting out that I knew everything that I knew about nutrition now, but we know that, it's a journey. People's fitness and nutrition, is a journey. So you learn one thing, what works, and then, and then you go after another thing that maybe you're working on, and then slowly but surely you look back and hopefully you realize that you're starting to figure out what works for you. So for me, in the beginning, it was very much that yo-yo type cycling of dieting, like most women have been a part of at different times of their lives, or a lot of women, it's been their entire life, right? So for me, it would be like trying to eat really clean and really perfect and be 100%, not make any mistakes what I felt like were mistakes. So only the good foods and the good things, right? Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, it would be a little bit of a shit show. And so it's this constant cycling of being good on the week and then blowing it on the weekend. Good on the week, blowing it on the weekend. And, every year losing and gaining the same 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And so every January it's like, okay, let's do a cleanse, let's do a detox, let's do a Whole30, and then shed that 10 pounds and then spend the rest of the year putting it back on. And so getting frustrated with that cycling, and how do you make this a forever thing? So just like you were saying, it's all about balance and knowing what works for your body. And once you have a few key factors figured out, the rest is actually pretty simple.
It very much is.
So I think we made it way too hard for so many years. So. Well,
and it's. At
least I did.
I think. Well, I feel like you made it hard. I remember watching those stories with you where you're just saying, reflecting back on that. But there wasn't really. I don't feel like until just recently, and it might just be us figuring this out as we went along, there wasn't someone that just put it in a very simple, matter-of-fact way of understanding.
There's a lot of good methodology, but it doesn't necessarily flush out into the day-to-day for people. Like the practical of how do I do this on a practical level.
It doesn't have to be complex, right?
Yep.
So
nutrition.
The next thing here is the importance of taking care of my shoulders. Holy cow. So the shoulder is, and people talk about this all the time, is such a dynamic joint. It has this huge range of motion. And there are so many movements that we do in any fitness life or just at work that just so much on the shoulders, right? Where we put ourselves in a bad state there. And it's really, when I mean by taking care of my shoulders in exercise, sometimes my shoulders weren't prepared or weren't at the level that they should have been for me to be attempting whatever I was attempting, right? And so that was a bad fault of mine because why? I wanted to strive to that next level and I didn't want to take the progress to get to that level, right? So like if you know a lot, if you work out with us now or you hear us coaching you, oftentimes we'll tell you, you have the underlying strength to do this, but your technique's not quite there yet. And we just need to work on this technique before we get to that next level. And it's really hard, for people to hear that because we're holding them back from what their goal is, that muscle up or whatever. But if you want to listen to my shoulders now, realize that there is an important reason why to do that. And it'll go into my fifth one too, that I'll talk about here in a second. But really understanding how to take care of my shoulders, and then and how that relates to anything else. It's my knees, it's my hips, it's all that, right? It could be. It's my shoulders. It could be your knee. It's definitely your knee, definitely your hip, right?
Yeah.
And the importance of taking care of that, warming that up.
Yeah. That goes into my next one where I talked about. Just the all in or all out, the 100% mentality.
No, that's going to be kind of close to my last one.
And not, and I guess for me, it was more of an internal thing. So not competitive with the people around me or in CrossFit that were with me, but myself. So I was hardest on myself. So after that workout, if I, didn't have one of the highest scores, if I didn't have one of the heavier weights, if I didn't do it RX, if there was an RX plus, well, I had to do it RX plus. Should I have, or did I have the capability? Maybe. But what it established for me was imperfect patterns of movement, repeated over time. Because all of the other things that I had listed off, I wasn't listening to my body, I wasn't recovering, I wasn't caring about all of those things that I should have been. Like you said, taking care of your shoulders. And so that all in or all out mentality just did me such a disservice. Not to say that that's a negative thing, because some people function that way and that's their jam. I know we have more elite athletes here, a few that, really pushing to that point is they're able to manage it. And so I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but more than not, I would say we tend to ignore all the little tiny tweaks, the little tiny things. And then eventually, if you don't deal with it, 10 years later, when you're in our position, you're going to be forced to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to creep up until you're forced to either it takes you out or you're looking at, a real injury that needs surgery or PT, that kind of stuff.
So and in that line, what you're saying there is also like understanding, like one of my pet peeves is, I have many, but one of my pet peeves is not full range of motion for a movement, and then you pile on weight to that. So dudes, I'll talk to many of you on this. Many of you need to lighten the effing weight up on your back squat and get below parallel, right? Because you can get below parallel with the bar but without body weight, but you can't with 225 on your bar, right? You are missing the point of this whole thing. It's range of motion, right? We want to be able to come out of a bottom of a squat, so if we ever fall down on the ground, we can actually get ourselves up and have the strength to get it there. So I hate incomplete movements, and I hate seeing people that actually go ahead and start adding weight and they don't even have the movement down yet, right? And that's part of that evolution stuff. And we tell you, back it off, right? Get down to your bottom of your squat or whatever it might be.
Right.
So my last one in this category is, I guess it would kind of tie in line with all of this, is understanding the stimulus. You talked about certain things, and I try to coach the stimulus a lot more in my classes now, where this workout should be complete in about this time. This is what this should feel like for you. And oftentimes, like you were saying, reaching too far for, like, I'm going to do RX Plus. Well, you missed the stimulus, because whatever this workout was supposed to take 20 minutes, and it took you 35 minutes to do it.
Right.
Had you have lightened up the weight or reduced the movement complexity to get you in that 20-minute time frame, you would have a better workout than you did with the 30-minute.
Right.
And likely, you know, we talk about that damage that can happen to your body over time, right? Likely avoid potential damage to your body over time, right?
And believe it or not, might get you to your goals quicker.
Might get you to goals.
Than if you just suffer through every workout taking twice as long.
So if we think about Fran, famous CrossFit workout, 21-15-9, pull-ups and thrusters, right? Or thrusters and pull-ups, right? I think that's the order of it. Yeah, it is, because it comes that way. That workout for the elite athletes is sub 2 minutes, you know, 2-ish minutes for elite athletes. Really, for athletes that are doing Fran over and over again, they should be like a sub 5, sub 6 minutes. If you're reaching, like, for that goal, like you have good capacity, but you're not quite at that endurance, maybe 10 minutes, realizing that, hey, that's the farthest we want you away from Fran. I would argue more like 8 minutes or under. I'd like to see you as a coach before, you know, you're saying that's my Fran time, and then you work to improve that. But many people will spend, you know, they'll add 15 minutes to that workout. Or Murphy, right? They put a vest on and they can't do full range of motion push-ups, or air squats, but now they just put 20 pounds on their body. You're missing the stimulus. Yes, Murphy is supposed to be done with a 20-pound vest. That's assuming you have the underlying foundation to do it with a 20-pound vest.
To do it without a vest first.
Yeah. And then do it with the vest, right?
Yeah.
And so missing the stimulus often happens a lot. Today's workout had a heavy thruster. I can do that. I've done it many times. I've done that same workout many times today, before, and I can pretty much do well. But today, it's the end of my week before I go into one day off, I was like, I don't want to push that hard. So I lightened the weight a little bit. I didn't even put my score in, so you guys don't even know. And I moved very well, very quickly to get this done. Had a great workout. I was happy with that stimulus, but that would not be the old Sean. I would have done Storm King all day, every day, RX.
Yes.
Next one for you.
My last one was the beauty of modification. So I wish that someone would have told me, if I had one coach back in the day, maybe that said to me, it's okay to modify. It's okay to modify. 4 words that could have saved me so much pain and suffering. And I feel like it's taken a long time to get to that point to be okay with it. It's hard not to feel bad or to feel like you didn't get as good of a workout or to feel discouraged because everyone's doing something that you're not doing. So you really have to fight the internal,
conversation,
negative self-talk, and just continue to tell yourself that, you're here to move, you're here to get a workout, and maybe it looks different, but you're still here. Right, you're farther
consistency
along,
over time. You're here. That's the most important thing.
Than anybody else who's still sleeping in. So the beauty of modifying. So a lot of days my workout looks completely different. Today's workout looked very different for me, but I still try to choose, weights or movements that are going to keep me in the same stimulus or rep schemes or whatever. So I love doing that for myself.
I love doing that for my athletes. And a lot of
other members in my classes. So if you're listening, you're one of our members and that's you. I reach out to people all the time just via text message and say, I know you're injured. Please let me program for you. I will look at the workout. I will write in a completely different workout for you with movements that you can do. So don't suffer with an injury at home. Still come in. And so that's been a big deal for me in the last couple of years. Just realizing I can still have the aesthetic goals. I can still look the way I want to with nutrition. I can still have muscle tone. I can still have those things. Do I lift heavy and do I lift the same weights and numbers that I used to, 4 or 5 years ago? Nope. Way different. but it's okay.
It's okay.
Yep.
All right? We're not trying for her to go to CrossFit game. We're trying to have a good, balanced life here.
Trying to just live a long life and not be
Broken.
crippled.
All right. Now, a wild card here that you don't know this is coming. She's like, What is one thing, I'll let you think about it while I tell you mine, that you would tell yourselves as a new CrossFit coach looking back now? So my one thing, and you and I have had this conversation, so while you're thinking about this, is that the relationship business is hard for us. And I've had this story before, I've told it before.
You have a call from
Keep talking. Excuse me.
We're going to take that phone off.
9.
The relationship business is hard. And all of you people that come in our doors, we care about you. I mean, we care about you. We want to see you reach your goals. And we hear these stories that you tell us of your why at that time. You know, you're going through a divorce, or you just, have been sober and all these type of things. And I had one lady who I worked with back when we were at the old place, very brand new. Her name was Rita. And she had a very sad story with a daughter dying, and she went on this mission for several years to get AEDs put in every school, because that's her daughter passed away at a school and they didn't have an AED. And you could see this was her life mission to do this. Mm-hmm. And during her life mission, she became she was so focused on that she lost,
stopped taking care of herself,
everything on herself.
Yeah.
And she recognized that, and she came in. And she was the sweetest lady, very sweetest lady. And I took her under my wings, and boy, I gave her PT coaching in every session. I worked with her so hard, and she had such a great attitude. And I want to say,
you have a call from
geez.
142.
We're just going to turn that
ring
down.
when it's off.
9666.
So I worked with her for about 6 months, and then I could start seeing the pattern where she started missing a couple days, and I would reach out to her and she'd miss a few more days, and she was going through some struggles at home and stuff like that. And we had had so much progress that I could start seeing it start to slide back. And eventually she said, hey, I need to put my membership on hold, and but I'll be back. I promise that. And so I would reach out to her weekly for a couple months, just to check in. I really cared about her, right?
Several months, yeah.
And then I would go, it would be every month sometimes she would reply, sometimes not. And then she just stopped, responding back to me. And all I was like, I'm thinking of you. I'm hoping you're okay. We miss you.
Yeah.
Those type of things. And how hard that is on your psyche, because you care. And so the sad part about being a coach and some things is that you have to still care, but you still have to have calluses on your heart, because we have had so many people tell us, I will do this forever. And guess what? You do something comes up, life changes, and out the door you go. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's sad. It's hard not to take it personally, right?
Yeah,
and definitely. So that is my biggest thing, is like, it's a hard business, and it's a hard relationship business. How about you?
Yeah, I think mine would be very similar, and it's that you can't save everyone, and that's the hard part, is that when you have a new person, you get so connected, and it's just like, I want to be their biggest cheerleader. I know so badly how much they want it, and how they've struggled so many years to get here often, and you want them to get the taste of it, and to just start to see success a little bit right away, so that they come back. You want them to get connected in the community so that they come back, all of those things, so that they can then start to change their life. Then they're going to go home, start to incorporate these things with their family. Maybe they make a little bit of changes with the way they cook, or they realize how important it is to move, and they get their kids out riding bikes, or they go for hikes, or all of that ripples into family, which then ripples into our community and that whole population wellness that we always talk about. So I guess it's reminding myself that, like you said, people are going to come and go. And often health seekers, people that come to try it, You know, they've tried 100 other things and nothing has been a good fit, or have they been able to stay consistent with. So my biggest wish, you know, as a new coach would be to realize that, you know, for every 10 or 15, maybe one really gets the bug, you know.
One makes it through.
However, still realizing that all of the things that you impart, maybe they just take one thing and maybe they don't stay here. Maybe it's not the best, but whatever you've taught them that they can take with them, the tools that you've given them to take into the rest of their life is huge.
Yeah.
Is huge. So
And it's sad. It's sad when you see them go away because you realize that
they need it.
they needed it so bad. So that's the hardest thing there.
Yeah, I would agree 100%.
All right. So
moving on.
Moving on
Free
here.
Friend Week.
Free Friend Week, October 18th.
The entire week.
The entire week.
People keep saying, so they can come the whole week?
The whole week.
Yes, the whole week with you.
So as a
Keywords,
reminder, with you. So it has to be at your time that
Your
they
class.
come in, your class, you come in. If you're a 3-day week athlete, for this week, you can be an unlimited athlete, right?
What?
As long as you're coming to group classes.
Yep.
That doesn't mean coming to open gym and say, here's how open gym works, right? It's going to any of our classes there.
3-day-a-weekers, now's your chance to try Pulse.
Now it's your chance to try Pulse.
If you haven't.
And then if they sign up by the following Monday, you get some incentive back into your next membership, right? So that
Nice.
next month, up to 2 friends you can bring. So tell them now about this, right?
Yes, I know a bunch of you have been asking us about Free Fridays and whatnot. So this will be your last chance for the rest of the year to bring your friends, and they get a whole week. So there's no reason why they can't get a really good glimpse of what we do here in that week. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Athlete birthdays.
Athlete birthdays, Laura Bruner and Trent Danielson.
2 great people. Laura.
Happy birthday, guys.
Laura's down in with Rusty in Wyoming.
I think they get back today.
Yeah.
They're on their way back, yeah.
They're having
Another baby.
Yeah, having another baby. You don't watch her little baby videos. Those are funny where she rubs
So
her belly.
cute.
and the candy cane thing. Yeah, it looks like they're having a great time. And Trent, he's one of my athletes in the morning.
5 a.m.er.
Awesome, guys. Happy birthday to you
Yeah.
guys.
Featured athlete.
Now, this is someone that will just tell you can show consistency over time.
Yeah.
All right, go
Connie
ahead.
Walker.
Connie Walker. Bam, bam, bam.
Yes,
all
a
these.
good athlete to feature, and kind of what we were talking about, because Connie was one of our original athletes in in those very original classes. Maybe not quite as, I would say maybe a year or so after us.
But very damn close.
Yeah, but we started a class there, and Connie was one of our members in that original one. And so she is still here all these years later, and most of her kids at some point have been long-time members here as well. Her youngest daughter, Myra, is still one of our athletes here.
Myra's been definitely the one that's been the longest.
Yeah, so Connie Walker is a PA.
Yeah.
She works at Jamestown, and she's my doctor.
She's your doctor.
Yeah, so you can't have her.
Yeah. Congrats, Connie.
How do you get a hold
How do you
of
get a hold of
us?
us? So you're going to follow along on the screen here. You're going to go to Storm King Athletic Club. You're going to look up in the upper right-hand corner. It's going to say free intro. If you're a non-member, you're going to click on non-member. You'll schedule an appointment. If you're a member, you just want to sit down and talk, you click on member, right? All we ask you is that if you're going to book an appointment, make sure you show up, or cancel if you're not going to be here. Why? Because we have to be a life too, and if you don't show up, we drive here or do whatever it might be, and all of a sudden you're not here, right?
Yes.
But we'd love to see you guys. With that,
One more thing here, let me show you Feature Friday. We have some new apparel coming for fall and winter. So here's one of the new hoodies. Probably don't need to stand up.
oh, they could see it.
But very, very soft. This will be available for pre-sale. Has a metallic logo on it. Super cozy. Inside, I gotta tell you, is like sweatpants. So ridiculously soft. Anyway, if you're interested, reach out to us and we'll get you going on that pre-order.
All right, guys, have
Right
a
on.
great week.
Have a good weekend.
Get in the box and do something. Move your body.
Move your body.
We appreciate and love you all.
See you soon.